Henry even states that no one understands his problem, as he has been that way for a long while. Every time he ran with that old shape to ask Thomas to at least empathize in his suffering, to which Thomas hurts him more. In What's the Matter with Henry, he felt ill again due to his boiler grumbling, to which he is teased by Thomas and Percy, along with some empathy from Emily, not to mention that he does stand up for himself when someone bullies him during those early seasons, for the most part. Anyway, speaking of illness, he got ill so much in his earlier years on the railway that he didn't work at all for some time. This is shown through his lack of presence in few of the early books in the railway series. He has suffered from a few accidents, such as his accident with the flying kipper, as stated before, and his accident of trucks later on in World's Strongest Engine. Despite having these issues, he is willing to push through and prove his worth on the railway the best he can. He never tried to give up despite his poor status of movement from his old shape, as he was still willing to work and eventually got Welsh coal that Sir Topham Hatt bought for him, so he could move well. In the book Super Rescue, he was willing to go the extra mile by helping not one, but two diesels that were broken down along with their trains, which shows how capable he is in being an engine, as well as being nice. Not to mention that it was Wilbert's last book. In What's the Matter with Henry, he was willing to pull a train of coal despite being ill. In Henry's Hero, he is at his best, as he is willing to finish the job with Hiro despite taking bad coal and pushing both him and the heavy train as his back engine when he breaks down. Not only did Henry prove his worth in several occasions, he also paved the way for more engines to debut in the books with the basis from real-life locomotives, despite being intended to be originally written off by Wilbert himself. His constant presence in the books was made due to a few kids having an interest in him, as he did lack some relevance in the earlier ones. He is pretty considerate towards others, and cares for them the best he can. That being said, he is a lot nicer than Gordon and James at times. He felt pretty concerned for himself and Hiro in Henry's Hero, due to the information of bad coal that was stated by Duck in his reintroduction. He was willing to offer his job of the flying kipper to Caitlin in Calm Down Caitlin, as a way to let her enjoy her stay on Sodor while the Vickerstown Bridge was being fixed that very evening, to which she agrees and gains Gordon's approval with the offer. He also asks Caitlin to act calmly while pulling the train, so she wouldn't make noise to the residents of Sodor, not to mention the other engines. He tells Gordon that he is running late to feel concerned for his punctual status in Gordon Runs Dry. He at least tries to explain the so-called ghost train to the other engines in Henry in the Dark. Much to the teasing of Gordon and James, he is pretty clever. He gave proper comeuppance to the boys that threw stones to his coaches in Whistles and Sneezes, where he intentionally sneezed coal powder onto the boys, much to the delight of his crew, passengers, and coaches. While it isn't suggested to take revenge for people when they hurt you, it was still justified since people that do wrong shouldn't get away with bad actions. He was able to manipulate Gordon in taking the flying kipper by stating that it would be hard for him to pull. This makes Gordon willing and able to pull it in the episode Henry Gets the Express, which results in him getting the Express again after his negligence. He paid both James and Gordon back by scaring them and the other engines with his glowing paint during one evening in Henry in the Dark. For teasing him when they stated his fear of rain, he made a nice reference to the Railway series book Gordon Goes Foreign in Thomas and the Royal Engine, where he states about Gordon's confusion with the stations in England. All of his voice actors did good jobs in portraying him, mostly Keith Wickham, who gave him an old voice to show his proper age. Number 5, Edward the Blue Engine. He was the first character ever created for the Railway series by the Reverend W. Awdry. He is very gentle and kind-hearted, despite his old age. He is very wise and often gives advice to the younger engines. He can be sarcastic and blunt at times, as seen in Old Reliable Edward, which is done in the best way possible because he flat out used reverse psychology on Gordon to get him back for teasing him. In other words, he basically fought fire with fire. His voices in the United Kingdom and United States dubs are adorable and fits his character. He helped to build the North Western Railway back when Soder was beginning a new railway. He has great episodes like Edward and Gordon, Cows, Old Iron, Edward's Exploit, Old Reliable Edward, and Hunt the Truck. Despite being kind and wise, Edward has also shown a stern side where he isn't shy to call out those for foolishness. He knows how to keep Bill and Ben in order, despite his old age. Despite going through bad situations, as seen in Edward's Exploit, he always manages to make his way out. He isn't afraid to call out those who are in the wrong, and is essentially a second in command to Sir Topham Hatt. Number 6. Emily the Stirling Engine. She is one of the most iconic engines on the show. Emily is portrayed as a kind, helpful, mature, and supportive older sister figure, making her likable and a fan favorite. She has an excellent character design. Emily has shown herself to do many good things, such as being the voice of reason or helping other people. In What's the Matter with Henry? She realized that Henry was not feeling well, so she decided to help him get the job done. In A Blooming Mess, seeing Mavis feeling down, she assumed she was sad. She tried to make her feel better. Let it be known that this happened during her Flandierization. In her debut episode, she saved Oliver from getting hit by Thomas. She is voiced brilliantly by Jules de Jong and Teresa Gallagher, like Thomas. When she sees the trouble she caused, she will usually strive to fix it immediately, showing she can learn from her mistakes. She is shown to get along well with other engines like him too. Her friendship with Mia and Rebecca is shown to be interesting.